So here are 4 habits that you need to instill if you want to become rich in 2023. Starting with number 1, I want you to start taking one uncomfortable action every single day. And this uncomfortable action should be uncomfortable for you, okay? Not generally speaking, but for you, what might be very uncomfortable is either taking a cold shower, or maybe talking to a stranger, or working that extra hour. Just anything that actually makes you feel uncomfortable, because you gotta understand that this does a couple of things for you. If you take an uncomfortable action, especially in the beginning of the day, like for example, taking a cold shower or going and talking to strangers or whatever, then you are breaking through a barrier at the start of your day that sets you up to win for the rest of your day, okay? Because you're starting with something that you find extremely hard. Like as an example, I lived in Bali for a while, and there in the gym, they have an extremely cold, cold plunge, which is about 4 degrees Celsius, okay? So it's pretty damn cold. Now, I would go in there and not even go in the sauna before that, and I would stay in there for like 5, 6, 7 minutes, which is pretty long as well. And every morning, like doing that once or twice, that's fine, but like doing it every morning, it really sucks, right? And some mornings I really, really didn't want to do it. But when you do that in the morning and you do something that's so hard and it's so painful and you really don't want to do it, but you do it, the whole rest of your day becomes easy, and any business challenge that you could do at that point in time becomes really easy, right? In comparison to it. So that is number 1. And then number 2 is it really, really builds your pride. It builds your self-esteem, which makes you feel more worthy, right? To be able to make more money, to be able to view yourself as higher status, and then also gather the external accolades that come with that representation of yourself, okay? So take one uncomfortable action every single day, and you'll build your momentum, you'll build your pride, you'll build your self-esteem, and therefore build your wealth and build your external life as well. Now, number 2 is gonna be priming. Okay, and priming is actually going to be slightly related to what we just talked about before, because priming really sets you up to win. Okay, priming is something you do every single morning, every single night, but it's really, what it means is to prime your brain to be able to see the things that are going to cause the results that you've primed yourself with, okay? And there have actually been done various studies on priming, and what priming simply means is that you put information, you put input in your brain that primes your brain, that makes it ready to be able to see those things that's going to create those results externally, okay? So I'll give you an example of what priming is and a study that's been done and that shows you how effective this really is. So for example, there was a study done where they took a group of people of all ages and stuff, and they just had these people, kind of read sentences. And then they put test group 1, test group 2, okay? And the test group, essentially what they would do is they would read sentences that had all these words in it that kind of signaled, to be of high age, right? To be old. So bingo, slow, wrinkles, whatever. Okay, but they would be subliminal, right? So they would be like covered up in, within these sentences and within other words that made it not really obvious to the bare eye, but the words would be in there. Now, what they did and what they measured is that the people that would read, the test group that would read these sentences as opposed to other sentences, normal sentences, they actually walked out of the classroom and away much more slowly than they came in, okay? And they tested it obviously multiple times, but it shows you that your behavior is not just your behavior, it is primed by something that happened before that, okay? By something that you've been thinking about, by something that you've been impressing upon your subconscious mind, and that then puts you in an identity, puts you in a frame of mind and a state of mind, in an emotional state, okay, that produces certain behavior and therefore the result, okay? So it's about priming your brain to really think about wealth, to really feel like you're wealthy, to really feel like you're rich. And how you do that is simply by every single morning focusing on that goal that you have and viewing yourself as already being there and stepping into that emotion, stepping into that identity that you would have were you already there, okay? Because that's really gonna get your emotions riled up and put you in a position where you are thinking from that abundance and therefore also attracting it and creating it. Now, habit number 3 is gonna be tracking, okay? And this is the most boring habit, but it is actually vitally important because this is something that I personally really messed up in the first couple of years in my entrepreneurship journey, because tracking is literally just actually tracking your progress, okay? Tracking how much money you're making, how much money you have in the bank, how much money you're losing, how much money you're spending, etc. Tracking your financials, okay? And really managing your financials and tracking it so that you're always aware where you actually are, okay? Because if you don't track things exactly as they are, you're not gonna know how far you are, you're not gonna know how far you're off your goal, right? And you're gonna have an idea of what you're making, but you're always gonna have this subconscious stress that you don't have enough money, right? Because you're not exactly tracking it, you're not exactly tracking your finances, and it's just gonna put stress on you subconsciously because you don't know your exact admin, you don't know your exact tax bill, etc. Okay? And we've all been a victim of this most likely, but if you know exactly, you're not gonna have any stress, and you gotta understand how your mind works. If you have stress for whatever reason around the area of finance, maybe it's just because you're not tracking it, that makes an association between stress, negative emotions, and money, and that then causes you to not be as motivated to go work and to go do things that are actually going to produce money because you have a negative association linked to it, okay? So make sure you track every single day. Look at your bank statement, okay? Every single day, track how much money is coming in, okay? Track everything, and then you'll get more progress. And also track your personal effectiveness, okay? Track how much your output is. Track how much your sleep is. Track when you wake up, etc., etc. Okay? Track everything and you'll improve it. Now, on to number 4, which is create a routine. Okay? You want to really have a set schedule of things that you're doing. Because if you have a routine, if you're going through the movements every day that are exactly the same, you're ingraining these habits in your brain, which causes it to take much less willpower, and you only have a finite amount of willpower every single day. So you don't want to spend it on trivial shit, right? You just want to have a routine so that, you know, everything goes automatic, okay? So you wake up the same time, you do your mindset, you do this, you do that, okay? You go to the gym, you shower, and then you get to work. And then also for your work, you first do this, then you do this, then you do this, okay? So you routine and you plan your days, okay? You plan every day before it hits you. Because if you need to think about what you're gonna go do, you've already wasted 50% that it takes of the energy that it takes to actually do the thing. Okay, so never when you're going to do work, think about what do I need to do, etc. Okay, just have it down. Okay, have 3 important things that you need to do that day, and just go and attack that after hitting your routine. So routinize and systemize and plan your life, your work, into your goals. And then habit number 5 is acting. Okay, this might be a funny one for you, but I want you to really start to develop the habit of acting the way that you want to be. Okay, because usually the problem that we have as entrepreneurs is like we attack our goals as the person that we currently are, and we want to get there, but we can't get there as our current selves. Okay, so we kind of need to figure out and engineer this person that we would need to be to get to our goals. Okay, who would you be if you already were there? And then just act and behave like that person, like you are that right now. Because you got to understand your identity is always going to be the biggest factor in whether you're going to achieve your goal or not. Because the strongest force in the human psyche is to stay consistent with how you define yourself and how you view yourself. So if you start behaving and acting like the person you want to be, okay, then you'll automatically start identifying as it more. Okay, you can also visualize yourself as that, etc., etc. But acting like it, behaving like it, every behavior, every action you take, in the way you take it, is a vote for the person that you ultimately want to become, and you will become. Okay, so start acting like it, and then focus on those events. Replay those events where you behaved and acted like you were the shit, like you were rich, etc. Start going to a rich store. Start test driving a rich car, right? An expensive ass car. Start viewing a way above your budget place, right? Do these things and behave and act like you could comfortably be there. You'll become more comfortable with the idea that you can be rich, that you are rich, and then you'll move towards that, because that's how the human brain simply works, okay? So listen, these 5 habits, instill these right now, and you will be much more wealthy, and you will be much more motivated, much more happy, and much more successful in 2023 and beyond. Okay, so do that, and I will see you in the next one.